It's draft week, party people. Are you ready? Because the SportsGrid Network certainly is. It's Davis and Donnie here on the morning on a Monday to sort of set that table for what we can anticipate. I love the fact that the NFL says, you know what? We're not just going to have a turbo draft on a Saturday and a Sunday. We're going to spread this thing out. We're going to have drama. We're going to have better content. We're going to be able to reevaluate after the first round, after the next two rounds here, before you head into the weekend. I really enjoy this. Now, if we're looking towards Thursday night, the number one overall pick, as we know, is the Chicago Bears, followed by the Commanders, Patriots, Cardinals, Chargers, Giants, Titans, Falcons, Bears, and Jets, 1 through 10. So let me ask you this question, Davis. We'll get to some team-by-team analysis here. How ready are we for the draft, and do we expect surprises early in round number one?
I mean, I am locked in. I've been firing draft bets for over a month right now. My biggest position is if Drake May gets picked at second by the Washington Commanders, it'll be very good for me, because that is, look, it's just the thing that makes the most sense. Drake May is the second best quarterback in this draft. The odds moved initially because the Washington Commanders signed Marcus Mariota to be their backup quarterback. So the market then said, oh, well, you would never sign Marcus Mariota to be Drake May's backup. Only makes sense for Marcus Mariota to be Jaden Daniels' backup. What really the inflection point, I mean, mock drafts could all end up being wrong if the Cardinals do something squirrely at pick 4. So the way the chalk is right now is that Caleb goes 1, Jaden Daniels or Drake May then go at pick 2 or 3, depending on which mock draft you're reading. The Cardinals take Marvin Harrison Jr. The Chargers trade out of pick 5 to the Minnesota Vikings, and the Minnesota Vikings take J.J. McCarthy. Now, that's a lot of stacking, right? That's a lot of things that have to go exactly right. You know, the Neighbors goes at 6 to the Giants. But what if the Chargers don't want to do that trade? What if the Chargers say, you know what? We just want to take Joe Alt. We need a tackle. We want to protect Herbert. We want to run the ball. We want Joe Alt. And then what if the Arizona Cardinals say, we ain't trading either? Malik Neighbors, not a good consolation prize. Rome Odunze, not a good consolation prize. We want Marvin Harrison Jr. We're staying at 4. We're picking him. Then basically every mock draft is wrong, because I have not seen any mock draft where pick 4, 5, or 6 has not been a trade to lead J.J. McCarthy to being selected. And I want to throw this wrinkle out to you. I actually just tweeted this when we were at break. If you shop around a little bit, you can get plus odds 3 to 1 or deeper for McCarthy to go at pick 4, pick 5, and pick 6. I think you can get up to 6 to 1 actually for McCarthy to be pick 6. So theoretically, Donnie, if all these mock drafts are right, then you can lock in a profit betting each of those. You bet $25 on each of those for McCarthy. You can lock in a profit. Do you think the mock drafts are right and that McCarthy will be a top 6 pick?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to watch it play out, because as we know, smoke screens, smoke signals go up for the past couple months here. This guy's a high riser. This guy's falling late. We'll find out which one of these NFL teams is going to get their guy. Now, granted, after the draft, everybody always says, man, can't believe that guy fell to us. Can't believe that guy was here. We had to trade up. This was our guy. Let me ask you this question. Number 1 on the board is the Bears. Obviously, they're going quarterback. Number 2 on the Commanders, it feels like there's going quarterback. But pick number 3, I do think is intriguing with the Patriots. Tell me this. Is there any way the top 3 picks in the draft are not all quarterbacks, and maybe a wide receiver could slip in for the Patriots here?
No chance. I would, like, if you let me bet that at like minus 500, each of the top 3 picks, like just being a quarterback, I would bet it. I mean, it just feels all of those teams have a huge need at quarterback. The teams behind them with ammunition to trade up, the Giants need a quarterback. The Vikings need a quarterback. You know, there are multiple teams picking behind them that could trade. I mean, the Titans need, like, theoretically, they could do it. I definitely don't think they will. That's like total fan fiction. But I think we actually see the first 4 picks all being quarterbacks. I believe ultimately the Arizona Cardinals will end up engaging in a trade with one of these teams and trading back, and J.J. McCarthy ends up being the 4th overall pick. Or maybe it's Drake May, right? Maybe McCarthy goes 3rd to the Patriots and May ends up going 4th to whomever trades up for him. But this is going to be a super quarterback heavy first round. I don't think Nix and Penix will be first round picks, and I bet against it. But there are rumblings out there that the Raiders might take one of them, that the Broncos might take one of them there. Super heavy quarterback draft.
Let's take a look at that number 4 spot here, because that's the Cardinals. And if you say to yourself, well, who's in the best position in the draft? Well, obviously, the Bears, number 1 overall. They think they're getting their franchise quarterback that can play for them for the next 10 to 15 years. But we know the Commanders are sitting there. They need a quarterback. They'll draft one. The Patriots need a quarterback. They're probably going to draft one. But the Cardinals sit in that 4 spot, which we probably think still valuable quarterbacks will be on the board. So my question to you is, with that 4th overall pick, yes, it says Marvin Harrison Jr. would be a minus 240 price here at this. J.J. McCarthy at a plus 420 price. Drake May at a 9-1 price if he lasts till number 4. So is it a foregone conclusion that if you are the Cardinals, you can't make a draft pick here? You trade back, you slide back a couple spots, you pick up an extra 2, 3, or heck, maybe even a number 1, and then get your guy. Or could the Cardinals actually stay at number 4 and be like, yeah, we're picking our quarterback? There's so many options for the Cardinals, but for me, I can't see them making a pick at number 4 overall.
No, and what you're saying is so interesting, and like one of the wrinkles that makes betting on the NFL draft profitable, which is that the thing that makes the most sense for the organization is not being priced in, which is there are so many teams that want to get up to select J.J. McCarthy, and they know the Chargers are not going to take him. So why wouldn't they do it? And the Chargers also would be unlikely to take Marvin Harrison Jr. because organizationally, everything they're saying and putting out there is like, we have no interest in taking a wide receiver. We want a lineman. Like, that is the whole Harbaugh thing, is building from the trenches. And one thing that we have seen is that these front offices, the closer we get to the draft, they really discount next year's first round picks. Like, it feels like if there's a front office that's got a little bit of heat on their seat, they will just give up a future first round pick, because what does it matter? They might not be there to take it anyway. And if the trade works out, we saw with the Texans, if the trade works out, trading the additional first round pick for Will Anderson, you win a playoff game. No one cares. Not one Texans fan cares that they don't have a first round pick this year. Now, there are definitely some Carolina Panthers fans that are pretty upset that they do not have the number 1 overall selection this season that they used to trade up for Bryce Young. I think you do the trade if you're the Cardinals, if it's good value. If no one will give you, Jimmy Johnson trade chart value for it, then I think you just sit. But for our purposes, I think it makes the McCarthy number and the Drake May number there at exactly pick 4 pretty interesting, because we just highlighted why the Cardinals would take the trade, and the trade up would definitely not be for Marvin Harrison. It would be for a quarterback.
I want to ask you this question on 2 teams here in the top 10, which I do think are intriguing. In your mind, Davis, number 6, the New York Giants. Where do they go? And then also the Bears, 2 picks in the top 10 here. Their own pick is actually number 9. Where do the Bears go at 9?
So if Rome Odunze is on the board for the Chicago Bears at pick 9, I really hope they take him, because we would get to see like something pretty historic, which is Heisman Trophy winner, number 1 overall pick, and Caleb Williams is already awesome. And if you have him in a 3 wide receiver set with DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, Rome Odunze, and then you've got Cole Kmet, I mean, that is basically the best situation a rookie quarterback has ever come into, I guess, other than Patrick Mahomes with Tyreek and Travis Kelce when he started in 2018. And I would just be, honestly, it would just be so cool to see a guy come in who I think is as talented as Caleb Williams is. And then for the Giants, I think it's very simple. The Giants take J.J. McCarthy if he's there at pick 6, and they basically get a chance to restart the clock. Or if he's gone, you take Malik Neighbors and you say, we're already paying Daniel Jones all this money. Let's try and salvage it. Let's try and just get something out of Daniel Jones before we go on a different direction. And also the Falcons at 8, they're another team that could screw things up for the Bears, because if Odunze is there at 8 for the Falcons, I think they might take him as well.
I do love the fact that the NFL has the slotted prices on the top rookies, because I remember, and it wasn't too long ago, throughout the 90s and early 2000s, you would have teams already agreeing to deals a couple days ahead and blowing the first 3 picks here on you knew exactly where they would go. But the fact of the matter is we know where the Bears are going with pick number 1. The fun really starts right away at pick number 2, right through to pick number 9 for me. The NBA coming up next. Coach James Young joins us. Stay tuned.